Welcome to the North End. This is a Premier League fan channel. Let's get at it, folks.
This is the North End. This is the North End.
All right, folks. I'm here with JP California. Just JP and I having it. We're gonna talk top of the table, mid table, bottom table, just a bit of table talk. JP, good to see you, pal. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great today, man. I'm super happy just to be back on the pod. It's been a little bit off and on for me. I've been really busy for the last month or so with coaching and teaching and doing all this stuff. So I'm glad to be back and to be back on. And I miss all the banter and all the fun stuff. And man, this table in the WhatsApp crazy. Yeah, there's so much going on in our WhatsApp conversations. But we got to put it out here for the viewers and
for sure,
keep them entertained and start popping out more regular content. I've been saying it in the WhatsApp. We got to do at least one video a week from everybody and just get it out there. So hopefully we can start doing that a little bit more kind of steady, streamlined, if you will.
Yeah, consistency is going to be key. And if you're watching this, please make sure you like and subscribe. Obviously, the more people to watch, the better it is for us. Obviously, the more motivated we'll be to do it. And yeah, once a week is going to be a priority because I think we have to have at least content once a week for you guys to want to pay attention to what we're doing. And we're having a ton of fun, especially with what's going on in the Premier League right now. I think I hear that now, JP.
Yeah, is it bad or is it just a little bit?
Just for a second. JP's got a guy cutting his grass next door.
My neighbor has like their chainsaw weed whacker thing going on, hitting the trees, and I'm like, right now, okay,
right? Yeah, good timing. But yeah, let's get into it. So we're gonna do, like I said, we're gonna start top of the table. We'll get into the race for top four. We're not going to spend a ton of time on those because we always talk about them. And since it's me and JP, and both of us are in sort of that race for the top four, although Spurs are arguably out of it. But at least, at least race for Europe, though, right? Like a proper European.
Yeah.
Like that. I think that Europa League spot is like, I don't know how you feel about Europa League, but I think it's still a great tournament. I think I'm a fan of it, so I do want to be in it if we can be in
Europa Conference, Champions League, Intertoto Cup. I will take anything. Like literally, Villa fans are like, you know what? We'll do Thursday, Saturday, make it happen. We'll do it. If Villa got Conference League and we had a decent game, I might actually try and fly out from California for that, just because I've never seen Villa in a European competition, and I know Villa fans are dying for it. That's 5 to 8 spot is getting a little juicy, and I think the 5th spot might be out of the picture for both Tottenham and Villa.
I do, and we are getting a little ahead of ourselves here, because I know that's what we want to talk about. Just before we get into that, because that is like a big need of it.
Right,
we're both there.
6th spot, man. That 6th spot's going to be a battle right now because Brighton have those 2 games in hand.
Yep.
But as we saw today, they can get winded. They can have their off days just like anybody. What was it? 5-1 to Everton?
Yeah.
To Everton.
Yeah. It was a poor performance, and Brighton have been doing that. There's a little bit of inconsistency getting into their game. We were going to talk about the top, but we all know Man City, if they win their games,
we're going to the top. My bad.
So we'll just skip past that. I mean, we were going to not spend that.
We'll start at 6, and then we'll work our way up, and then we'll go back down to the bottom.
If we get to the end of the show and we still feel like talking, maybe we'll come back to that. But I do think, like you said, that performance from Everton today, and obviously for what that means for them at the bottom of the table, and what it means for Villa, Brighton, and Spurs in that fight for the 6th. Spurs currently sitting in it on 35 games played. Brighton won 55 points. Spurs on 57. Villa on 54. But Villa still. Well, you guys don't have a game in hand anymore, right? So
we don't have a game in hand, but we got Tottenham, so we got to play you guys and Brighton. That's 2 of the teams right above us to get those points.
Yeah.
We've kind of stumbled from our great run that we had of 10 games with 8 wins. We've lost 2 of our last 3 and tied the other one. But I still believe Villa can get 1 or 2 more wins. Liverpool's the other one, and I just don't know if we can get anything out of Liverpool. But Tottenham and Brighton are at home.
Yeah, I was just looking at that, and that Tottenham Villa game this weekend. So obviously we can do a bit of a preview of it right now if we want. Big game. Spurs away record is awful. It's absolutely awful this season. We've been poor. You guys are.
Except we haven't beat you at our place for 15 years.
Oh, really? Eh?
That's we've drawn at our place against you guys, but we haven't beat you at our place for 15 years. And I don't like those statistics, but that's a long statistic. That's a long time.
It is 15 years, but you are coming up against the Spurs side who've won 1 game in their last 6 games, 3 losses out of the last 5 with a draw and a win in that. In the last game, we arguably, I mean, the amount of goals that we've let in as many goals as Everton, as Leicester, as Leeds. Like, our goals against is so poor.
What was your last game?
1-0. We won 1-0 against.
Perfect. I think we got a shot then. If you guys had lost to somebody,
but it was at home, JP, like you said.
Yeah,
we were at home. We were in his. It was lucky. We played pretty well, like considering what, like I said, like the amount of goals we've let in.
Kane always plays well against.
Yeah, he scored too, so he's
a machine. He's looking on fire. He needs to get ready for that summer move, and I think him bagging a bunch of goals will be great.
So here's the thing to talk about quickly about that summer move. We wanted to chat a little bit about Man United maybe shitting the bed and falling out of that 4th spot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if Man United are the team that Harry Kane's supposed to go to, you know, does he want to go there if they're out of the Champions League? He may as well just stay at Spurs at that point. Like, what's he doing? Their Man United are not.
Who else would take him? I'm looking at the table.
Well, in the Premier League,
Newcastle would splash a cash for him if they get.
Newcastle would be the only one, but he doesn't want to leave London.
Ooh.
Chelsea, maybe. You know, if Poch goes to Chelsea, that would be.
But like, I don't think Chelsea's winning a title next year or the following. I think Harry Kane wants some place where he believes he can win a title in the next 2 years. And Man U did just win a trophy.
Yeah, but Man U, if they follow the Champions League, he also wants to play in the Champions League.
He does, but he wants to win a trophy.
Yeah, I know he does, but maybe Man U, maybe. I mean, they're in a final this year, so they do end up in finals and end up doing better than Spurs do. So perhaps that's in that conversation.
Nobody else would even. I mean, maybe I'm out of this, but I think he would do great at Atletico Madrid. Oh.
I think it'd be fantastic at a place like that, but he doesn't want to leave England, and why would he?
Why would you want to leave fish and chips and gloomy weather for Atletico?
No, it's about records, and that's what he's got right now. He doesn't have trophies; he's got personal accolades. You know, so he just passed Wayne Rooney for 209 goals in his career in the Premier League, second most next to Shearer, who's I think he's about 60 behind.
He's gonna hold that for forever. Like no one's gonna stay in the Premier League that long again.
He's gonna pass. Definitely gonna pass him and get that. And he just needs 2 more seasons, really, maybe 3, to get over the line to get past that. So he's gonna want to stay in the Premier League. And I don't see him wanting to live in Newcastle with his family. He's got his 4th kid on the way. They're all in school. You know, he's gonna want to stay in London. That means
I get that he wants to stay in London, but I think there's a point of him that's just over Tottenham. Like not that he doesn't love
disagree
Tottenham.
with that.
I just think he's been through so many managers. I think he's resigned to the fact that it's not going to happen at Tottenham, and he needs. I do too,
but he also has to have somewhere to go. And
God, I hope that's not.
If you know anything about him, right? Obviously he's been at Spurs for his entire career, so I followed his reign and run and everything he's done, and he's adamantly said like he is really happy with living in London and doesn't want to leave London.
Yeah.
So it will be a big part of his decision. Now, how much of it? You know, he's probably got. Arguably, he could go to Spain or he could go to Germany for a couple seasons and come back and still beat Shearer's record. I mean, you know, he's only 29, right? So he's got another. If you look at modern footballers like a Lewandowski or somebody like that, he could
as a forward. I think
4 or 5 years,
3 or 4 years.
He'd have to drop deep and he'd have to change his game, but he's done that already. Anyway,
he's already done that. We got really off topic. I think the Tottenham Villa game is going to be a good game this weekend. I wish I could watch all of it. I got work. I have to leave after the first half. Yeah, I work Saturday mornings right now with coaching, so I have to leave after the first half, and I'm hoping that it'll help ease my nerves, but we'll see. Looking at that 5-6, man, Liverpool, don't they just look like a juggernaut right now? They're
looking a little bit like they did last season and the season before, a lot more consistent, a lot more going forward. I mean, they're getting their fitness back. Like we all knew. You know, when they did have a massive injury crisis. I think a lot of teams suffered from that this season because of the World Cup. But Liverpool probably more than any other team with some of their bigger players out for extended periods of time. And their midfield just getting too old to function in the Premier League.
Oh, my goodness. You ready to hear this kind of run-in?
Yeah.
It is Leicester, Villa, Southampton.
Yeah,
that's at least 2 wins.
I mean, the Villa game's the tough one in there, but the other 2 they should win no problem. So I see them going above Man U. What's Man U's running like? Did you
bring it up right now?
Let's take a peek at that because that's I think theirs is kind of tough too, isn't it?
let's see. They end the last game. Do they have? I think they have one more, right? So
they got Bournemouth.
Wolves just beat Villa, but it's at home. They got Bournemouth away, whatever.
Chelsea.
And they got Chelsea, which could be feisty, and Fulham, which could be feisty.
Those are pretty easy games too, though. I think if they just, I mean, it's the
only thing is the Fulham game is the game before City United for the FA Cup.
Right, so that they're not going to throw a lot at that. Probably it'll be pretty.
They probably won't, and I could even see him like resting guys early.
Liam's here in the chat. What's up, Liam? He wants us to say
Liam.
We are talking a lot of Villa. We're talking about Villa Spurs. We're talking about that
already there, dude.
4th to 8th place scenario and what's going to happen there and who's going to finish. I honestly think if I was going to predict it, I think Liverpool will go above Man U. Man U will finish 5th, and I think Spurs will hold on to 6th.
But Villa can get 7th, I'll be happy.
I could see that happening. I think Brighton, maybe they respond to that performance, but losing 5-1
they have a hard run in like we do, but they have so much more momentum and goal difference. But I don't know if they have what it's going to me. It could literally come down to between us we play each other on the final day.
Really?
And
right.
So like that literal 7th spot for Conference League could come down to just us.
That also could be for 6th, depending on what Spurs do. So
yeah,
like if we lose 2 out of our 3 games, it's you guys to fight for on that final.
Yeah, day. So if we beat you guys this weekend, it'll put us tie, and then it'll be Villa have 6 points. We'd all have 6 points left, and Brighton have a really rough schedule. I mean, who knows what's going to happen for that 6th or 7th spot right there.
It's so tight in that spot, and of course below that you've got like a few teams in there. You got your Brentfords, your Fulham, your Chelsea in the 11th place, Palace, Wolves. Those teams are they're up essentially. I think Bournemouth is the only team below 40 points in that.
And even Bournemouth, I think, is pretty safe.
They've been playing pretty well lately too.
Terrible run-in.
Yeah, so I think they'll. I mean, they got United next, right? Or not this weekend, the weekend after.
Leicester would have to win their last 3 games in a row to tie them and beat them on goal differential. I think Bournemouth are safe.
Probably, yeah.
9 and Forest is right there, but they have enough in them to get maybe 1 or 2 more draws, maybe 1 win, and that would be enough. It's going to come down to these bottom 4, which none of them.
Can you believe Everton, Leicester, Leeds, and Southampton?
None of them are guys that just came up. It's crazy.
It's such a strange one that's happened that way because those are 4 big teams. Now Leeds I can see because they've only just come up, and a lot of teams teeter back and forth a little bit when they come up.
Southampton's been at the bottom.
Yeah, I was just going to say that they've been struggling. Yeah, they've gotten lucky, or they've gotten
they got new owners who's like everything's just going to stay the same because
not changing anything.
Some money out of the club. Yeah, that bottom 4 is me very interesting, and it's interesting to me because like if Southampton, Leicester, and Leeds go down, Leicester and Southampton have players they can sell for money to help them offset the balance and maybe reset a squad a little bit. Leicester have a lot of guys coming out of contracts, and Southampton have a few good young kids. Leeds have nobody. They have Nacho, the left winger.
Maybe their
Jack
goalie.
Harrison,
maybe their goalie.
Maybe. And Patrick Bamford is just terrible.
Falling off the boil completely, hasn't he?
Bad.
Terrible.
So it's like, what do Leeds really have going on for them? They have Tyler Adams, who I actually value as a player, maybe because I'm American, but I think Tyler Adams has some quality. He could go up to a mid-level Premier League team.
Like a Villa or something? Or
I would take my Villa. I would take him or McKinney, but I think Villa's going to.
McKinney's good, right? He come in.
I like McKinney. A lot of Leeds fans have taken to him, but a lot of other fans haven't, and they say he's not that good. I like McKinney. I like Tyler Adams. There's the other guy. I think it's Aronson is there. I don't think he's prime quality. That's a good one.
It looks like it, man. He is so bad. It's unreal. Some of the chances he's missing at the moment.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
It reminds me of Fernando Torres' open goal, and he missed it.
Yeah, seriously. So Leicester, let's talk about Leicester a little bit because you talked about the players that are there. There's a bunch of good players in that Leicester side. Kind of nuts. like if you think about the midfield, that they have in that team, some of the defenders, it's just there's a ton of players. Who are you poaching from Leicester if you have a choice?
I think for me right off the bat is Harvey Barnes or James Maddison.
Yeah, those two are obvious. So both of those have been rumored for Spurs. Of course, every player is rumored, and it's
right.
Rumored, but they have been heavily rumored, especially Maddison.
I mean, Tielemans is out this summer, if I'm not mistaken. His contract's out. I think Jamie Vardy's contract's out, but I think he's gonna stay.
He's a loyal guy. I can see that for sure.
Yeah, they have another center mid who I think's contract is coming up. He's a guy who's like playing. Harvey Barnes only has like one more year. I think it's Ndini's contract is coming up. Harvey Barnes, who I think he scored at least one goal a day, if not two. He's been kind of finishing really strong for them.
Yeah.
And he's youngish. He's like, I think he's only 24. He's 25 years old. I think he's a valuable pickup for any team. I like Dewsbury Hall. He's a younger guy. He's only 24. I like him as a solid 8. They got Maddison, obviously, Tielemans.
They get some players in there, man. And like what
James
happens?
Justin.
What happens to Leicester after they go down? Because they're going to get pillaged. I mean, they were such a well-run club for so long. What happened? It's a little bit baffling. I don't get it.
If they're smart, they sell everybody of value and they take as much money as they can and they reset a whole squad, which is hard. Like that's going to be hard to go into the championship and reset, but you could buy some of the best players around the championship for that money and you could really make a whole spine and just go for it. I could see Vardy going to Sheffield Wednesday. Yeah, I could
bring that up. Yeah, I could see that too. I didn't know that was his boyhood club, but isn't Sheffield Wednesday isn't coming? It's Sheffield United, isn't it? Or Wednesday in that conversation as well, Liam?
I don't remember.
I know that Sheffield United are second, but
Liam, get at us, dude. Help us. You got some knowledge going on here, dude.
Add it to the chat.
Are Sheffield Wednesday even like able?
Maybe he's thinking of Sheffield United accidentally.
Maybe the next year. I don't think he leaves Leicester to go to another team in the championship. I think he would stay at Leicester.
Yeah, I'd agree. Well, maybe. I don't know, man. Depends if
he's like 34 and his legs went really quick this year.
Did you see how good he's been in the last 3 games? He looks like the pace has been ridiculous, and he scored a couple of goals too. I think it's just injury just hurt him. He just took him a really long time. When you get older, as you know, when you get to a certain point, the injuries take longer to fix. So he's saying Wednesday is in League One,
but Sheffield's
coming to the Prem. Yeah, that's what I thought. So Wednesday would still be in the championship, but some players are like that. They want to go to their boyhood club and finish it off there. Vardy, a good player. Anybody at Southampton you would want to see? Obviously, there's the obvious ones.
I mean, there's the obvious ones.
Ward-Prowse being one of them.
Yeah, I like Latvia quite a bit.
Yeah,
I think that's how you say his name.
Lavia.
He's that holding mid that that City I think sold to them. And he's been one of their best players this year. Kyle Walker-Peters.
He's a good player, man. He's still one of their better players. It was a player that I didn't want to see leave Spurs when he did, especially since our left back scenario was or right back scenario was as bad as it was. He's a solid player, and I could see him still being somebody in the Premier League, bringing him in, maybe a mid-table team, maybe a Brentford or something like that.
On one of the older guys, I like Nathan Redmond still. I think he's a guy who
does he bring anything still? I mean, I know James Ward-Prowse is going somewhere in the Prem. Who's going to pick him up?
We got a bot here in the chat.
I know. I saw this guy here. Who's this Paul Forrest fella? Why are you in the chat, not on the show, Paul?
Yeah. Paul. I like Samuel Aduzzi. I think he's a good player. Maitland-Niles is a good player. There's a few there, but they're not set as heavy as Leicester is.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think there's a few that stand out, but not a ton. Defensively,
I love peanut butter, Paul. I love peanut butter.
Jan Bednarek, I've always thought was a pretty good.
We just had him. He was terrible for Villa.
Was he?
He couldn't get it even a starting spot.
Interesting. I mean, so who the bottom three at the end of the season for you? Do you think that's how?
Yeah, I think they are. I think they are the bottom 3. I don't see Leeds winning again. I think Southampton's too far adrift, and I think Leicester's fans have turned on them, And I think that kills them because they needed the fan support for the last 3 games. They needed, the stadium to be rocking. And I think it's going to be just a cauldron of hate and kind of just hating on them. And that's going to be really rough for them. I don't think they're going to be able to get out of it because they're not going to have the support from the fans.
That's a tough one. Again, Leicester, it's such a strange one that happened to them because, again, I like up until probably this season, I was always envious of their ownership because the support that they got.
And they just got a brand new training ground.
Yeah, they're just.
And it looks amazing.
Yeah. It's going to be nuts. Those 3 teams going down. We got Everton on the cusp. I think Everton, if they find a way to stay up somehow, I'll be baffled considering how bad they are. But
I think Liam's right. The fans last season willed Everton over the line, and I honestly think
I agree.
The fans this season willed them over the line again because there was a lot of days where the fans were just like gung-ho. They would lose, and the fans were still cheering them like, "Hey, we got you! Like we're with you." And if there isn't some wholesale change at Everton next year, they are going to be in the doldrums again. Like they're struggling.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. Well, I mean, that's sort of like we've gone through the league. Is there any other teams in specific you want to talk about? And we can talk about the title race a little bit before we sign off. But we kind of went over all the different sections there.
No, I think we can finally get back up into the top 4 since we did the middle of the table, then we did the bottom.
Yeah,
we might as well just go look at the Man City, Arsenal, even and for me, the other one is Newcastle holding on to 3rd spot.
I think they are. I mean, maybe Liverpool pass them. Who do they have left?
I'm looking that up right now.
what's their run-in like? Because it'll come down to that. They haven't been convincing the last few games, and I think
they have. Ooh, this is interesting. They have Leeds, but I still think they have more than enough to Leeds. Mm-hmm. They have Brighton.
Oh, that's tough.
Which is great because Tottenham and Villa really want
good for us.
Yeah, not win another game.
Newcastle,
and it's at Newcastle, and their fans are just, and that's Thursday. That's this Thursday coming up. That's not this Thursday. Next Thursday.
Yeah.
So they got a Saturday, then a Thursday, then they have a Monday versus Leicester at home, and then Chelsea away on the final day. I think they can beat Chelsea.
I think Newcastle stay in that 3rd position. I think with those teams left, it looks like
3 wins right there, and they're guaranteed top 4.
But I do think Liverpool go above Man U and knock them out of that top 4.
But Newcastle have a game, so that could potentially put them at 6 points over Liverpool, and I don't know if Liverpool has enough. Can I suggest a random question to close out?
Yeah, I'll bring this up. We'll close it up before we get in, or after we get into the Man City Arsenal bit. We'll do.
I like it, Liam. I like it.
We'll bring it up, Liam, in a sec. Man City Arsenal. Man City's to win, right? Essentially, they just have to win every game. What is their running like, and what is Arsenal's? And do Arsenal find a way to win this title somehow?
You're making me type this in so fast on my phone because I do not have it up in the background. I'm not savvy enough at
you gotta
YouTube.
Be prepared. You gotta be prepared
doing all that stuff. Whoa, they got the Champions League semifinals actually tomorrow,
and the FA Cup, but they got the squad for that stuff, right?
Yeah,
they got Everton. They got Everton.
They have Everton at Sunday, and that's like their C squad could beat Everton.
Yeah, exactly.
They have Chelsea.
Another one they'll dominate and win, no problem.
They should dominate. They have Brighton, Brentford. That's it. It's Everton, Chelsea, Brighton.
Yeah, that's
and Brentford. Sorry,
I can't see them losing any of those games.
I think Brighton could be a banana peel for them.
Maybe, but when the title's on the line and with the way Brighton are playing right now,
even if they lost, they would still be above Arsenal.
Yep, they would. And they still got a game in hand on them as well, right? So,
and they have a game in hand. So it's like Arsenal screwed the pooch by losing to them.
Yeah, they bottled it. I know. We've had that chat a lot.
I just got out. They bottled it. Blah blah blah.
Nobody wants to accept it. Paul doesn't want to hear the term.
City
Paul, you're not here.
Lose too.
You're not here, Paul.
He's back on the field already. Probably playing with a cigarette in his mouth.
All right, well let's close it off. Liam's question here. Can I suggest?
Wait, hold on. Don't we have one thing coming up about VAR next season?
Let's do that. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Well, let's do this.
Sorry, Liam, we're gonna hold on.
We'll hang on. You tell me about that because I haven't read an article or a link about it, and I'm curious what was said. And what's the plan?
Did we have a slide for that?
No, we don't have a slide.
Okay, no worries. So the news that dropped today is that Howard Webb, who had been brought back to help with the reffing association image in England dropped the news that next season they will be showing the VAR audio over games between the VAR referee and the referee on the field.
Like how they're making the decision kind of thing?
Yes, but they won't do it live at game time. It seems, and
when are they going to do it?
This is very coy of the EPL.
Yeah.
It seems they're going to do a separate show after the week closes. So they wait for all the games to play out and then have a separate show where they go over all the key VAR events of that weekend, where they show the event and they have the audio, and then they can break it down. Instead of giving the fans rest, they're giving the fans, like, I love the concept.
It's good. The concept is good, but it's going to be a rage fest.
It's going to be a rage fest because what's going to happen is all the fans are going to wait to the weekend. Then they're going to hear why they are pissed. And it's either going to say, okay, like, I get it, or it's going to make them demand rules to be changed to fit the narrative of what they believe the rules to be. Yeah, Liam, it's kind of sneaky. It's also, they're not releasing the clips in full. Apparently, they will be cutting clips to add them in. And this is where I'm like, okay, well, you could actually cut out clips.
You could just manipulate it if you wanted to.
Right.
You know, if they want to like avoid people getting more pissed off. I can't, I mean, I don't know what to say about it.
Step in the right direction.
But why not
a baby step?
So you're American, you know American football. They've been doing, I don't want it to turn into that, by the way, because that's super slow and it takes forever to get from A to B when it comes to them making a call. But they've always told you what's going on. You know, holding, flag on the play, they'll do a little thing.
Oh, you mean the American football?
American football, yeah, NFL, right? So like, why can't the official have a microphone and be like, it's offside, while the replay's up, show it. Rugby do it. You know, rugby in the rugby league, they show it on the screen. They explain why they've chosen what they've chosen, and then they leave it, and that's it. Like, and it doesn't take that long. You just have to go use offside. This is why we draw the line on here, because that's where his shoulder is. And if you draw it down, his knee's over it. He scores the ball with his foot. No goal or whatever. You know, like, just do that quickly. Do it on the screen. Do it at the same time. This separate show is just. It's gimmicky, and it's going to add more fuel to the fire. I think. I don't think it's going to work. I think it's going to be just people are just going to get really pissed off. You know, what'd be funny is that we should react to it. We should look for that on this channel when they start this. We're going to do reactions to the VAR show. Week.
So I think it
gives us content with JP.
I wish they did it during the game, but the problem for them to do it's sneaky because it also adds more content for them, and it allows them to even possibly like set that up as like a special item that you have to pay extra for or whatever.
I can't see if that happens.
It gives them more things to feed the fan base.
I guess.
But I think there is like something about this that they seem to be willing and wanting to fix some of the issues that they have. And I think that's a positive. I think it will change again. I think it will end up being something where they televise it to the people who are at home. I wish they would do something in the stands for fans, because clearly the fan in the stands,
that's what I mean about doing it
forgotten about for some time.
Exactly, and it's more about what's getting streamed, right? And that's where the modern fan is. But I just think, like I said, if you just look at a model where this is working, or replay works, and VAR works. There's leagues that it's working in, and they announce it, they explain why it's happened, what's happened. It doesn't add any length to it. Well, the ref is just standing there with his headset on. He could be explaining what they're saying in the background on VAR, or just have that conversation go through the PA, like while you're at the game. Like, why not just have their conversation back and forth? We listen to it, we understand the decision. Maybe they're wrong still. Because that's going to happen. They're human. But at least we understood some sort of reasonable logic to get from A to B, why they made a call, not sitting there going, I don't know what this is. I don't know what happened. I don't know what this is. Arms in the air, and I'm just going to be pissed, because that's how it is right now. And it's just, it's utter nonsense. And I agree that arguably they're doing it for the TV audience rather than for the fans at the game. And that's just going to be, I don't know, interesting. Do they have a name for it, JP? Did you see if there was anything?
There's no name for it yet. They just said they are going to be having something.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, it is what it is, and we'll see how that goes. Let's get to Liam's random question here for the end. Let me. Yeah. Can I suggest a random question to close out? Which player you think should already be in the HOF but isn't
Hall
yet?
of Fame, but isn't
Hall of
yet.
Fame. If not, that's cool. Just question like, oh yeah, no, it's cool. A good question, Liam.
No, I like it.
Who should be in the already?
I got one right off the top of my head because to me it has to be.
I don't know who isn't in it because I don't really pay too much attention to that.
I mean, there are players that I don't think you can be a player and be in it. I don't think you can currently. You have to be retired,
right?
So the switch on this is who is playing now and potentially should be in it. So like Harry Kane doesn't apply to me because although he will definitely get in the Hall of Fame, he's too young.
Playing.
Yeah. Not only is he still playing, but there's like to me, I'm thinking about like James Milner. Right. James Milner is 37. He has accolades up the wazoo. He has more Premier League assists than Paul Scholes or Ryan Giggs. He is one of the highest goal scorers.
Yeah, he's definitely that type of player for sure that deserves to be in that.
I think
I'm a fan of Milner. I've always liked him.
I love
everywhere he's gone, I've always been like, that's the kind of player you want to have on your team.
Oh, all day. Yeah. He is, and he's such a top level guy. I bought his book, and it's really interesting. He's never had an agent.
Really?
He's never had an agent, and he currently he has a what did he do? He has a nanny come in every day, teach his kids Spanish, and then he and his wife are learning Spanish and trying to speak Spanish with their kids so they know Spanish in the household as well as English. He wants them to be fluent by the time they're 10.
That's amazing. Yeah, smart guy. You can tell he's intelligent. It comes out on the pitch. It comes out on the way he handles himself. He's class.
And I don't know if you've ever seen his Instagram. It's really funny.
Oh, hilarious.
It's hilarious.
Oh, no, it's so good, man. It's one of the best things.
A classic night at home, and it's him with a teacup, and that's it.
Yeah,
he's organizing his Skittles.
yeah. Very funny. Liam has one to add here. For me, it's Ashley Cole.
Yeah.
I can see that. I think that's a good shout. I would like to see a list of that. Maybe Liam, you could send it to us in an email, thenorthend@gmail.com. So we can maybe add that as a segment in the show with a list, because I don't know what players should belong in it, and I don't know how that works Hall of Fame wise with football compared to say hockey or other sports. But it's a good question. It'd be a fun one to chat about. But yeah, I think that brings us to the end. And JP, it's been a pleasure. Good to do this with you, man.
I mean, not our long episode, but you know what? With two of us, we made it happen. The top 6 is going to be feisty. 17th and 18th is going to be feisty. You know, I'm all about it, man. This running is very interesting. I want to say, like, I am getting to the level where I'm starting to think the EPL is becoming a farmers league. If Man City win it 5 of the last decade,
it's just getting more and more like some of the other leagues that we've always complained about, for sure.
You know, there are whispers in the background that they want to put in place a wage cap and a transfer cap, and there's interesting things that need to take place in soccer, because what is the point of sport if the same teams win it year after year in the Bundesliga, in Ligue 1, Ligue 1, in La Liga? Like, what is the point? You know, they need to have some sporting merit to it.
Yeah, and I think that's what FFP was supposed to bring to the table, and it just, obviously, we know we've had this conversation. It hasn't been into full. They've been used it properly, but it does feel like that's changing a little bit with some of the background checks that are going on. It's just some of the teams who've gotten away with it already have already put themselves in a position like Man City have, that it doesn't really matter to them anymore now, because they've got the infrastructure in place and they've done all the stuff sort of illegally or in a dodgy way. So some of those teams, to catch up to a team like that now. They're a juggernaut, so it's nearly impossible, because the other teams in the league can't do what they've done. But that's a whole other podcast, JP. But
it is.
Thank you for watching, folks. This has been a Premier League fan show on the North End. JP and I saying out. Make sure you like and subscribe, hit those buttons, hit the bell.
Get after us.
We're going to try to do it once a week, folks. It'll be at the very least 2 of us will be here on Mondays. So look for it on Mondays, and make sure you return. And we'll see you next time. Peace.
Ciao.
This is the North End.